stand. We're posting on the post.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Bill Simmons, City Manager for Northglenn. It's a pleasure to be here today and see so many faces out of the audience. Today we celebrate. We celebrate the swearing in of James Stewart May Jr. as the next Chief of Police of the Northglenn Police Department. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize some of the people that are here today and joining in the celebration. I'd like to recognize and introduce members of the Mayor and members of the City Council, Mayor Joyce Downing, who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Council members Eric Baker, Leslie Carrico, Susan Klein, Carol Dodge, and Kim Stenzinger. So welcome to you. I'd like to thank representatives from area law enforcement agencies for being here today. I'd like to recognize all the city staff members who are here. And I'd especially like to recognize the men and women of the Northglenn Police Department, the courts and the records. I also want to recognize the volunteers of the police department, especially members of CPAN, who are here today to celebrate with us. I wish to extend a very special and warm welcome to Jim May's family and friends, his father and mother, his father Jim Sr. and Bonnie, his brother Tom from Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for being here today, Tom. His sister Jenny, her husband Tom, and their son, and Jim's nephew Dalton. So welcome. Give a special applause for them. To his families and friends, we thank you for your very special contribution to this event, to our community here. Your attendance makes it very special. It is my honor to entrust the future of the Northglenn Police Department with Jim May. Jim began his career with the Northglenn Police Department in 1992. After he had graduated from Metropolitan State College with a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice in 1991. We can all start doing the math now, right? And he received his post-certification after attending Arapahoe Community College in 1992. He continued on with his education and training, attending and graduating from the Northwestern University Police Staff and Command School in 2007. He was promoted to sergeant in 2001, made a lieutenant commander in 2005, commander in 2008, and then interim chief in June 2011, and today he's going to be sworn in as chief. I am convinced that Jim has the leadership abilities and skills to head the police department. He is the right choice for the department, the city organization, and the community. Jim has a special ability to connect with the community and has apparent ease or approachability by members of the community. This became abundantly evident to me when I accompanied him on National Night Out several weeks ago. After observing Jim's relationship with the community on that night and getting some good-natured prodding from the residents, the decision became much easier. Yes, Jim, I knew that. Jim will bring continuity, and I look forward from him and the entire department to a new accountability to the community and to each other, and a renewed enthusiasm and dedication to community service. When thinking about this occasion, I came across some words that were offered at another chief's swearing-in ceremony at a Midwestern city, and I'd like to just share those with you. Safety is our most important value because it makes everything else possible. When we feel safe, we get to know our neighbors. When we feel safe, our kids are free to explore. When we feel safe, our businesses can thrive. When we feel safe, our schools can be woven more deeply into the community. Safety is our most basic city service, and the irony is that the better we deliver it, the less people think about it. The children who walk safely to school, the neighbors who walk to the corner store, the worker who walks home from the bus late at night, the seniors sitting safely on their front porch at sunset, rarely think that they can only enjoy this kind of life because of the protection provided by their police officers, the command staff, and their police chief. But let us aspire and all work together to be that kind of place. Now I'd like to call up the city clerk, and we'll have the swearing in of James May as chief of police.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. After you say "I," please state your full name.
I, James Stewart May Jr.,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
by the ever-living God
by the ever-living God
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of
of
Colorado,
the State of Colorado,
the Northglenn City Charter,
Northglenn City Charter,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the City of
of the
Northglenn,
City of Northglenn,
and that I shall faithfully perform
and that I shall faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Police Chief
of Police Chief
with integrity, professionalism, and courage
with integrity, professionalism, and courage
in the City of
in
Northglenn,
the City of Northglenn,
upon which
upon which
I am about to enter.
I'm about to enter. Oh, I almost forgot. Sorry.
Please give us a second while we post his badge on him and put stars on his collar. Now it's official. May I present to you Chief Jim. First, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I especially want to thank my wife, Susanna, and my one son that's here, Connor, and my other son, Zach, he couldn't make it, for their continued love and sacrifices they have made throughout the years to support me in my career. I also want to thank my immediate and extended family who are here to show their support for me. Today I'm very humbled and honored to become the next chief of police for the city of Northglenn. It's no secret, I believe policing is one of the most noble of professions that a person can aspire to. It comes with incredible rewards and huge responsibilities. I'm sure you're familiar with the person who from being a child always wanted to be a police officer. Well, that was not me. I did major in criminal justice in college. However, at the beginning of my senior year, I had a different career path in mind for after my graduation. I am here in a police uniform due to a single event that occurred over 20 years ago. It was a family tragedy that changed my career path. In November, during my senior year, I arrived home from school, grabbed some lunch, and began watching the afternoon news. The top news story was a coverage of an unidentified homicide victim found in Arapahoe County. The news station gave a warning to the public and said it would be showing the morgue picture of the victim to help identify him. When the picture flashed on the screen, it felt like someone knocked the wind right out of me. The person in the picture was someone I knew and loved. I stared at the television in a daze. The reporter asked if anyone had information on this person, please contact the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. The next thing I remembered was talking with a detective from Arapahoe County. I could barely talk. As I told the detective, the person in the photo was my Uncle Gary. The detective asked me for my address and said he would come right over. When I hung up the phone, I never felt more alone in my life. It felt though as time was standing still. Panic began to set in. I knew I had to let my mom know that her brother had been murdered. That was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. Still today, I can close my eyes and remember the pain in her face and the sounds of her cries. Shortly after the detectives arrived at our home to talk with us, they asked if we could take them to my uncle's house. I remember they looked around his house for a while and then returned to our home. During this time, I sat in the background listening as the detectives talked with both my mom and dad. I was so impressed by the way the detectives handled themselves and by the empathy they showed while dealing with my family's emotions. They were patient. They took their time to gather all the information they needed, as well as answer all my family's questions. Over the next several weeks and months, my original career choice really did not seem right. I have no doubt in my mind that the professionalism of the Arapahoe County detectives inspired me to become a police officer. Also, I have no doubt that being a police officer is what I really was supposed to do all along. I guess the message in all of this is, I challenge each of you to inspire others in the way you do your job. Use the utmost integrity, professionalism, and courage. And who knows, there might be some young person quietly watching you, hanging on your every word, and the compassion and the confidence you show may inspire them to pick one of the noblest professions. And who knows, maybe someday they too may become the chief of the police. It can happen. I thought long and hard of what my first action would be as the new chief of Northglenn. I decided to recognize someone who means a lot to the Northglenn Police Department and who is a hero of mine and an inspiration to all that knows him. I would like Wally Hill to join me on the stage, please. He didn't know about it, so I probably should. I met Wally almost 13 years ago when he came through our Citizens Police Academy. Wally Hill is a former Marine and served in World War II. He was a radio operator. Wally landed on 2 islands in the South Pacific. He was one of the first Marines to land on Saipan, and he also fought in the Battle of Iwo Jima. I know the former and younger Marines in this room will smile with pride because they know you and the Marines that fought in those two epic battles set the bar for the future generation of Marines. After the war, Wally got married and had 3 children, lived in several states, and then he made Northglenn his home. Wally started volunteering with the police department right after completing the Citizens Academy. Wally assisted at the firing range, cleaned weapons, built target frames. I even dressed them up in a McGruff costume and took him around to the schools. I just had to remember water. That was the thing. The last several years, he has been working in our records division reviewing conslips. Wally has donated thousands of hours to the city of Northglenn and the police department. He has made personal sacrifices and served as a role model in providing service to our community and country. Wally Hill deserves the Northglenn Police Department's Exemplary Citizenship Award. However, that is not the reason I called you up here today. Hang in there. You're on the stage for a different reason. After spending so much time with us, I heard you may have some regrets of not going into police work. Well, Wally, today my first official action as the chief of police, I'm going to make you our first honorary police officer with the city of Northglenn.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
Again, I want to thank everyone for coming today. We have a very talented and dedicated police department, an incredible corps of volunteers, and we are part of a great community. And I look forward to our future. Thank you.
Closing of our ceremony right here, so thank you all for coming. We have some refreshments and ice cream in the senior center. Chief May's going to stick around for a few minutes and get some photos, but I invite you to go to the senior center. He'll greet all of you there. Thank you.